Let's talk cells at work. Okay, this episode is actually pretty simple in concept. It's about food poisoning. I mean, you saw the title, you saw the thumbnail. You guys know what it's about. But yeah, this episode's about food poisoning and it's interesting. Okay, so yeah, the episode starts off with red blood cell and white blood cell visiting the stomach because red blood cell has been using all of her energy to figure out where she's supposed to go in the circulatory system and hadn't had time to go down and actually visit it. So she and white blood cell went to go see it. And their little date, quote unquote, is cut short because at that exact moment, white blood cell detects a pathogen in the body. And it's at this point where we see eosinophil, a white blood cell who grew up with white blood cell. A white blood cell, yeah, she's a white blood cell who grew up with our white blood cell. I know it's confusing, but one's named eosinophil, one name's white blood cell, even though they're both white blood cells. I know, it's complicated, but yeah, eosinophil is trying to face off against the bacterium, and she's not doing too well. She gets knocked around the room and is almost killed by the bacterium until white blood cell shows up and kills it for her. Because even though she has a big spear thing, she's not very good at hand-to-hand combat like white blood cell is. And that at this point, white blood cell introduces eosinophil to red blood cell, and the two hit it off and become besties. And yeah, they all become friends after that point. Because throughout the episode, red blood cell is concerned for both their safety. But yeah, and that as soon as they get a moment's rest, the body begins to have allergic reactions. So one cell, mast cell, who isn't really important to the narrative, but her job is to release chemicals into the body, histamines, to help regulate allergens and stuff like that when someone gets sick. And sure enough, like 5 minutes later, a giant bacterium bursts out of the wall with a bunch of little mini versions and begins attacking basically every cell that comes into sight. He just goes after. And red blood cell, white blood cell, and eosinophil rush to the site where he's located, and white blood cell tries to fight it off. He tries to fight off the minis while eosinophil tries to go directly for the big guy, but she gets knocked around. And white blood cell is a bit mean to her in this scene because she's kind of thinking a bit rashly and just charging right in. And that's not exactly a good thing when you're trying to fight a germ. So she gets knocked around, he gets eaten, and then he bursts out of the cell, the cell lining of the bacterium with his knife, and is completely fine. But one of the call and response guys realizes that something is off and realizes that there's actually a parasite coming in through the body. And this is when eosinophil's real job is revealed. She kills parasites. That's what the big stick is for. And sure enough, she just skewers it through the head, and then everybody cheers because they realize she's not entirely worthless. So yay! Hooray for optimism. But yes, that is essentially what happened in this episode. And there's also another cell called basophil, but I couldn't find a colored picture of him. I also couldn't find a colored picture of the bacterium because it's a new anime. There aren't sprite sheets for everything yet. So yeah, obviously I'm not gonna find everything, but I did enjoy this episode. My only complaint, again, the platelets weren't in it. I'm hoping this isn't a recurring thing where they're just in the first 2 episodes and then we never see them again. I mean, they're obviously in the opening of every episode, but that's really it. They have no speaking role. They haven't had a speaking role since episode 2. It is now episode 4, and we've had almost no platelet interactions. Seriously, anime writers, what the hell? But yes, I like this anime regardless. This is quickly becoming one of my new favorite anime, except for maybe another one which I will review in the future at some point. I don't know when that will be, but yeah. I just liked this episode. It was simple, and it just showed the very good premise of cook your food. Don't cook your food before you eat it. That's essentially the simple premise of this. If it's not cooked properly, it's gonna make you sick and give you worms. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode, and if you have seen this episode of Cells at Work, what did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!